Hello people, this is my Summerfest 2010 review. I still love that name. And what I will say, straight off the bat, that this show, I enjoyed it for the whole, but the undercard wasn't quite what I was expecting, and the main event really did deliver. I was really tired, and still am really tired, because I didn't get much sleep from watching this. So the whole time, because I was up watching Quantum Leap episodes, so the whole SummerSlam I was sitting there waiting for Dean Stockwell to appear, but he didn't. Someone else did, and I'll get to that later, and squee! The first match was Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental titles. As this match was going on, it was fairly standard. The crowd was quite hot, and then Nexus interfered and beat them down, and yeah, so it's really hard to rate that, but I'd probably give it 2 stars for what they'd done. But it could have really gone on to be quite a good match, and it was the one match I was hoping would be quite good work rate wise. But there's not really much to say about it, as it really was just a lead-in for Nexus, and wait for them to get heat for later on in the night. My hair looks ridiculous. People who watch my videos know that I often spend too much time fucking with my hair in my videos. Next match we had Melina versus Alicia Fox for the Divas Championship. Now, usually a Divas match is a piss break for most people, but I didn't need to piss, so I didn't leave, so I sat there watching it. The match itself, the crowd was pretty into it, but there was a lot of botching in it, and I just didn't get really into it. I think Melina's she's come back, and she's just showing a bit of ring rust, and Alicia Fox isn't really that good, and Melina just beat Alicia Fox, which really wasn't what I was expecting, because on, I think it was Raw, Melina beat Alicia Fox, and usually that's they'll get even at the pay-per-view by having the person they beat them at the pay-per-view, and then they do it a final match at the next pay-per-view or at another time, depending. But Melina won, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. And 1 star for the match, and then we had Lay Cool come out and start a feud, I suppose. It wasn't too fantastic. I'm not really into Lay Cool. They're not too good. I don't enjoy them too much. So, yeah. Next match we had was the Big Show versus the Straight Edge Society. CM Punk, Joe Mercury, and Luke Gallows in a 3-on-1 handicap match. This match I actually forgot was on entirely, which is odd because, I love the Straight Edge Society. I think it's a great stable or faction, and there were actually loud CM Punk's chants during the match, but it was pretty standard, handicap type match. They took turns in beating Big Show down, and it was what it was. It was kind of typical of what you'd expect to see on SmackDown, like a 2-on-1 handicap match just with Punk, and there wasn't anything too fantastic about the match. And in the end of the match, CM Punk just walked out with Serena and left Joe Mercury and Luke Gallows, I'm just looking at my notes, to face them, to face the Big Show, and they got geeked out, and then we got the idea that the feud would be continuing. But seeing as how Punk couldn't beat the Big Show with Joe Mercury and Luke Gallows on his side, I don't know really how they could get you to buy CM Punk beating the Big Show as credible, especially with his broken hand as well. So that kind of just kills the heat of the match for me. Then we had Randy Orton versus Sheamus. I'm not a big fan of Randy Orton. He just doesn't appeal to me. And Sheamus, I've been getting into him a bit more as he keeps saying fella, and the too many limes meme gets bigger. But the match itself was, when it started off, it was just slow, chin lock as you'd expect from Randy Orton. Crowd wasn't really into it, but it started to pick up the pace. The sequence before the finish was actually getting quite good. I was getting quite into it. I was starting to pay more attention. I was like, yeah, this is actually beginning to go somewhere that I'd like to see it go. Faster pace, the crowd is into it more. Because usually the Sheamus effect is whenever Sheamus gets offense, the crowd just dies off entirely. But Randy Orton's quite hot at the moment, so whenever he hits something, the crowd get into it. But the finishing sequence was quite hot, and then Sheamus went and got himself DQ'd, and I stopped caring entirely about wrestling for a moment. So 2.5 stars for that. It was going somewhere good, and then they ended it with bullshit. Then we had Kane versus Rey Mysterio, and everyone kind of knew where this was going. We were going to see the return of The Undertaker, and when we saw Kane pushing the casket down to ringside, we kind of, Undertaker's going to come out of it at some point. He's going to, open it up and go to throw Rey in it, and Undertaker's going to be in there and grab him by the throat or something, and we kind of assumed that was going to happen. What happened was Kane won the match clean, and it was an alright match. I'd give it 3.25 stars. I saw a house show recently with a Rey Mysterio and Kane match where Kane won clean also. A very similar match to this. But the match I saw at the house show was probably better than the match I saw here on pay-per-view. It didn't go for too long, but it was alright. It was there. It was, as I said, 3.25 stars. But the whole reason why I was interested in the match was because it was going to be the return of Undertaker. I'm not the biggest Undertaker mark, but, it's always good to see him return because he does it every year. The annual Undertaker returning show thing. And what happened was Kane beat Rey Mysterio, then went to open the casket and nobody was in there. And I thought, well, that's a bit odd. I thought Undertaker would be in there, and he went to go throw Rey Mysterio and chokeslammed him again and went and shut it all. I think Undertaker missed his cue, so Kane had to chokeslam him 2 more times than him with the tombstone, because he opened it up and no one was in there, and then he shut it again and went and did some more spots on Rey Mysterio, and then Undertaker was there the second time, looking a bit fatter than usual, looking a bit older. Every time he returns, he looks a bit sadder looking. But I kind of guess it fits the gimmick of him being in a vegetative state for like 6 months or something, because you get fat if you're in a coma. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But yes, Undertaker got out and grabbed Rey Mysterio by the throat, and you thought he was going to chokeslam him, and he's like, oh, you attacked me, and Rey's like, it wasn't me, I swear, and Undertaker's like, oh, okay, I believe you, and picked him up, and he thought he was going to still kill Rey, or at least the crowd in attendance thought he was going to kill Rey, and then he turned around and went to chokeslam Kane, and Kane was, oh no, he's got me by the throat, and then he grabbed Undertaker back and then chokeslammed tombstoned Undertaker. And Undertaker looked really weak. And I guess they're doing a gimmick where Undertaker's really frail now. He's old. And Kane's strong. And so that'll lead to a match where Undertaker will murder Kane or something like that. But yeah, the match itself was alright, but the post-match angle was a bit confusing. I didn't really know what it was getting at. And then my favourite match of the thing, which really saved the pay-per-view. So far, the pay-per-view had been average, very normal, just there. Then we had the main event, Team WWE with John Cena, John Morrison, R-Truth, Bret Hart, Chris Jericho. And early in the night, The Miz said he was going to join the team, but when John Cena came out and said, oh, no, Miz, we don't want you, fuck off. I've got someone better who said yes before you did, Daniel Bryan. And I marked like a little girl, so my friend, we were sitting there screeching, ow! Ow! It's Daniel Bryan, he's back! Bryan Danielson, ow! And that was pretty accurate to what we were acting like and smacking the thing. And yeah, and the thing is, I was looking forward to this match the most. And then with Daniel Bryan coming out, really, really good. And the first thing he did was eliminate Darren Young first, like that, 30 seconds into the match. And Michael Cole was going off, during the match. And I won't give you the details of the match, but I'll go through the things I liked about the match. What I liked about the match, I thought it was very good wrestling wise. The guys who aren't as good, they kind of kept out of the ring. The guys who are, they put in the ring. Skip Sheffield looked very good for a long time. Bret Hart didn't have to take a bump to get eliminated. And while you had the return of Daniel Bryan, you had a DQ in the match, you had a run in the match, it was never done where you felt like it was too much crammed into a match, because the match was quite long, and it was an elimination style match, so really it felt like a gauntlet style match, so all those things didn't really have that much of an effect on the overall enjoyment of the match, and really it made you, get more into the match. It was done well. You were hoping that the faces would win. Sorry, I was just distracted. Someone pointed out that the Wrestling Observer / Figure 4 Weekly website is down. But yes, as I was saying, all of the stuff they did in the match, it really made you sympathise more with Team WWE, the faces. and you thought, oh, Nexus is going to win now. And the last two people in the and the way they eliminated Bret Hart was quite good with him. He did all this wrestling, came and got a lot of offense, but he was gassed very quickly, so he just used a chair that somebody else threw into the ring, and he got DQ'd. I thought that was quite good because he really wanted to get after them. What I was expecting, which didn't happen, which was the swerve from John Cena, it didn't happen, it didn't come, and John Cena was the last person in the ring. Second last being Daniel Bryan, and The Miz hit him with the briefcase, which is going to inevitably lead to a feud between Daniel Bryan and The Miz, which I will look forward to quite a bit because I really love Daniel Bryan, and I've always hated The Miz, but I really hated him after that happened. It was just really well done. The match itself as a whole, John Cena came off looking really strong as usual, but the guys who came, the younger guys who were made to look quite good from the match were Skip Sheffield, who looked like a monster, Heath Slater, who just looked really good in terms of wrestling, and he eliminated both Edge and Chris Jericho, and Daniel Bryan, who eliminated two of the Nexus members, even though he was only in the ring for a short while, and he had to get hit with a briefcase to get eliminated. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view because of that match. 4.5 stars for that last match, and 7 for the pay-per-view. Really brought down by the undercard, but the last match I felt saved the show as a whole. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and die.